evening, everyone. Welcome to the Wednesday, July 7th, 2021 meeting of the Lebanon Utility Service Board. Please let the record reflect that the meeting was properly advertised and that all board members are present tonight. Please rise with us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first item on the agenda tonight is the approval of the minutes from the June 23rd, 2021 meeting. Everyone had a chance to review those minutes, and if so, any questions or discussion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Jim to approve the minutes from June 23rd, 2021. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, next item tonight is a three-phase high-voltage electric recloser. Is it, how do you pronounce that?
Recloser.
Okay, just like it looks. Figured it was faster or something. Jeff Greeno, how's it going?
Good. Good afternoon, everyone. This request I'm bringing to the board tonight is to purchase a three-phase electric line recloser. This device will be installed on Perryworth Road, just south of 100 South, in the area that is known as the annexation. This is a protective switch that will operate when it sees a fault out on the line in the annexation. So it'll open up and keep the fault from going all the way back to our central substation. I utilized Annexter, which is our inventory management services, to acquire quotes for this specialty device, and they got two quotes back. One was from G&W and the other one was from Siemens, which I included in the board packet. This item is budgeted in the 2021 budget under capital additions and under the sub-paragraph system upgrades and improvements. So I had several meetings with the Annexter engineer. We went over the specifications to determine which of these reclosures would be the best fit for Lebanon Utilities, and we determined that the recloser that G&W offered was the best fit. So we would like to recommend that the Lebanon Utility Service Board award the recloser quote from G&W for the not to exceed amount of $33,381.00, authorizing Ed Baskell, General Manager, to sign all documents.
Right, thank you, Jeff. Any questions for Jeff?
Jeff, why did Annexter only get two quotes?
That I do not know. I relied on them to get this because this, like I said, is a specialty item, and they purchase all of our material, and they're more familiar with going out there and getting quotes like this for specialty items.
Right, and I know next to nothing about the details of this, of course, but I looked online and there's quite a few manufacturers of reclosures, and I just wondered if there was some specialty situation we had where we only got two quotes, or?
The recloser that we chose, one of the reasons was we don't have a lot of spacing where we need to put it, so we chose the specifications that I include in the board packet. Mm-hmm. It looks like a Z pattern. Mm-hmm. It takes up less space, so that was one of the determinations, and a lot of other companies don't sell that particular design. They're bigger, bulkier, take up more room. So we're kind of limited on space on the pole where we can install this.
Okay.
So there were several things we had to go over on the specifications. I mean, it wasn't something we decided 5 minutes. We went over it pretty thoroughly.
So that's the reason we didn't have three quotes?
Like I said, I used Annexter to acquire the quotes, and that's the companies they came up with. I mean,
I would assume if they came back with only two, that they either couldn't get
Couldn't get a
a
third
third bid,
quote?
Yeah,
someone.
I mean, I gave them a rough idea of what we was needing, and that's what they came back with, so.
I just think, Jeff, I just think with Annixter, our guidelines say we want to try to get 3. So if they may have sent it out to 5 and only gotten 2 quotes, that happens frequently, so.
Yes, I explained that to them, but they came back with 2,
With the
Okay.
2, all right.
yeah.
Would we be doing this now if we didn't anticipate the Waterford development?
We need to do this now, whether Waterford comes in or not. If you look at the annexation, if you look at it in a term of a tree, where we're putting this reclosure is kind of like the trunk. In the annexation, there's 20-plus miles in line. You can't look at it as a straight line. It branches out like a tree, goes all different
And
directions.
without Waterford, this branch is there, is what you're saying?
Right,
Go
right.
go ahead, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Right,
Go
and
ahead.
when we have a fault way out there on, say, the end of the line out there, which is several miles, it relays all the way back to our substation at Central Sub and trips the breaker out. So adding this will minimize the number of outages.
In the rest of the city?
Yes,
In other words, if there's an outage down south where you're talking about and the reclosure is there, the outage will be limited to that south area?
correct. It'll isolate from where the reclosure's at, south of it, until we get the problem fixed. It won't go, pardon me, all the way back to the substation.
How many outages have we had?
In the last few weeks, we've had, on that particular circuit, I believe, 2 within the last 2 months for various reasons.
So you feel we need it?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and I should add that your risk of outages increases with the number of, feet of line. And the 1271 circuit, this means if a squirrel gets in the line, the squirrel being one of our main causes of outages in this rural area out in the annexed area towards the end, it'll take the whole 1271 circuit down and take some industries down that possibly would have a real problem with losing power for even a short time. Whereas we put this reclosure in, what'll happen is the power might blink, but it'll just be localized to the other side, to the other side of the reclosure. So it's been in the capital plan, it's a good idea. And Annixter, we have a contract with them where the pricing's included in the overall, contract for various items. This is an unusual item, so they give us quotes, but in general, we do business with Annixter, so they get us the best price. So.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Jeff. Anything else for Jeff? If not, I'd entertain some motions.
I make a motion, we move to approve the quote from G&W for not to exceed amount of $33,381, authorizing General Manager Ed Baskell to sign all necessary documents.
Second.
Motion made by Bill, seconded by Tim to approve the quote from G&W for the not-to-exceed amount of $33,381 and authorizing our general manager to sign all the necessary documents. And this is for the 3-phase high-voltage electric recloser. Any other questions for Jeff or discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, next item tonight is the Abner Longley Water Storage Facility Supplemental Agreement. It's an action item. And Ryan Ottinger's here tonight, no stranger to the podium.
It's good to be back on this side. I appreciate the time. This request is for a supplemental agreement that has to do with the Abner Longley water storage tank. The reason why we have a supplemental agreement is we anticipated this work needing to be done, but we weren't sure in the grand scheme of things with the land swap and all that transfer if we were going to have to do it. So we didn't want to pay for it and then not need it and be out the money. So we waited until a necessary time to where it was needed. We did, in the original right-of-way services agreement, it was just related to the easement along the church property on Indianapolis Avenue, but it did not cover the actual water storage facility, the 2-acre parcel itself. So this supplemental agreement will cover that, and it will not move our budget number, the overall budget number for the storage tank. It will not move that very much, if at all. You know, when you're talking about $15,000 on a $1.5 million project, it's hard to say whether that number will move or not, depending on what your savings are down the road and what you might run into. But this cost was anticipated, but like I said, we didn't want to put it in the original agreement and then not need these services and had spent the $15,000. So we wanted to wait until the moment came before we spent the $15,000. And now that we know that we need this survey, that's why I'm coming here for this, with this supplemental agreement.
So this survey will give us a legal description of that 2-acre?
And John Leitner can speak a little bit more, but it's a completed boundary survey. I don't know all the details on it. John can expand on that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's a boundary survey with legal descriptions of the Abner Longley storage facility site itself and the access easements for the.
So we had to trade with the city without a precise legal description?
We haven't made the trade actually yet.
Okay.
Didn't the city do the boundary survey?
No, sir.
They didn't do any survey?
No, we handled all of it.
Okay.
So I believe that the parcel that they're acquiring was already surveyed, and pretty, you know, in the grand scheme of the survey, pretty simple. You know, that the house on Noble Street was, you know, a square,
Right.
you know,
Yeah, I know
rectangular site
about
that was.
I was under the impression that the city did do a boundary survey on that, but if they didn't, they didn't.
Yeah, and we were creating a new parcel, basically, so.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
And Mr. Sterner, that's a great point. That is why we waited to make sure that one wasn't already done and we were going to do, had already paid for something that had already been done. That's why we held off on that.
All right.
All right.
That's all I have on this item. If anybody has any other questions.
Any other questions for Ryan? If not, I'd entertain some motions.
I move to approve the supplemental agreement, number 1, from Butler, Fairman, and Seifert for the Abner Longley Water Storage Facility in the amount of $15,000.
Second.
Motion made by Jim, seconded by Bill to approve the supplemental agreement number 1 from BF&S for the Abner Longley Water Storage Facility in the amount of $15,000. Any other questions for Ryan or discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Right, thank you, Ryan. Next item is the BOT agreement for the pre-closing services. It's an action item as well. And I believe, Ryan, you handling that as well?
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and stay up here and
Okay.
save the steps of walking back. But before we do that, I do want to let everyone know, as part of the BOT process, we did have a public hearing on, yesterday, actually, on Tuesday at 11 a.m. That was advertised June 29th, 2021 in the Indy Star. And
Why was it in the local paper?
I don't know.
Yeah, I was looking for it.
BF&S takes care of that.
Yeah, in talking with legal counsel recently, we've been switching more to the Indy Star as it's, I guess, more widely, or widely, thank you, circulated. And well, there's some, Lebanon Reporter has only specific times and days now that they're advertising.
Right, I'm want to express the opinion that I value the advertisement in my local paper.
Noted.
In the future, we can do both. We can
do
do the
both.
Indy Star and the local paper.
I mean, you know, an ordinary citizen who has any degree of interest in this, trying to find a Lebanon-related public notice in the Indy Star is a test. It's much less a test than the local paper, so.
Agreed. We just, our concern with the local paper was when they didn't distribute every day, but we can, we can absolutely advertise in both for the future. That's
Okay, go ahead and relate the results of the public hearing.
So, John Leitner from BFNS and myself were in attendance, and there were no members of the public did not attend, and no additional written or verbal comments with any recommendations were presented to us. And so that was part of our BOT checklist, and it was completed successfully. So I just wanted to pass that on before we talk about the next process to let you know that part of the BOT process had been completed.
Okay, and I do just want to express my opinion again to the general manager, please. When we have public notices for Lebanon-related items, please have it put in the local paper.
Okay, I'll check with legal counsel, but I think part of the reason it was in the Indy Star is, if I remember correctly, the language for the state advertising is the local paper of record with the largest circulation. So that may vary depending on what the local paper of largest circulation happens to be. I've run into that issue other places, and we've had people, like when I was in Kentucky, turn down the local paper and say that we had to go advertise in the big city paper. So, but if it's the wishes of the board to advertise in both, it's a little bit more of an expense, but we can do that. So.
Yeah, absolutely. That's no problem at all. So that was I just wanted to, that kind of sets the table for the next process of the BOT. So that hearing wasn't until yesterday. That's why it wasn't on the agenda, because I didn't know what information I would have to relay. So I just wanted to give everyone an update on that. The agenda item is a request, that's the previous one. This request will allow General Manager Ed Baskell to sign the BOT agreement for pre-closing services in the amount not to exceed $65,000 from Bowen Engineering. And I put in the wording that this is a forgivable loan, and I kind of confused myself on that. And so basically, after speaking with council and with BFNS, this is almost like a refundable down payment. So if we decide that Bowen is who we're going with and everything goes well, it is an anticipated cost that we would have with any contractor, and it is part of our loan, so it's not an extra cost. If at any point in time they don't meet the criteria that has been set up for them, then that work is on their dime, and we would receive a refund on that. So the risk, the majority of the risk, if not all, would be on Bowen Engineering, and that's kind of what that forgivable loan means. I didn't want it to look like, and Sandra Morgan pointed out that it almost sounds like we're taking out an additional loan, and that was not the case. It was poor wording on my part. So, and like I said, this will not make the overall. This is not an overall budget addition. This is part of the anticipated entire budget of the Abner Longley Water Plant BOT project. And I do have I received from Bowen, and I've been out of the office, and so I apologize, everything that goes with this, that is within this scope. And so I can kind of go over that. If anybody has any questions, it does include multiple site visits, coordinate the BOT team to gather information for the existing facilities, participate in weekly design development update calls, with the design team, develop a detailed scope of work for the project completion, assist in development of potential permits, et cetera. It's basically the next step in the BOT to get everything moving toward construction of the Abner Longley storage tank.
It's a necessary step for the loan process too, right?
Yes, absolutely, yes. This is part of that process. And I can answer any other questions that we might have on that, but, so my my request would be to allow General Manager Ed Baskell to sign the BOT agreement for pre-closing services in the amount not to exceed $65,000.
I have a question for legal counsel. Is Bowen in agreement with the contract document that was included in our packet?
That's what they submitted in their bid process, Aaron, so yes,
Okay,
that's their submittal.
Yes.
thank you.
So, I'm sorry, I'm not legal counsel.
That's correct, sir.
Yeah, so one of the sections of the bid process said, send us a proposed contract. So we saw different forms of contracts come across the 4 bids.
Excellent. Good.
And if I'm correct, you guys might be able to help me out, but it was reviewed by
Yes.
by council and
I
approved. Yes.
I personally talked to Jeff about the
Okay,
contract.
yeah.
And it was executed by Bowen.
Yes, perfect.
Right, anything else for Ryan on the BOT agreement?
I move to approve General Manager Ed Baskell to sign the BOT agreement for pre-closing services with Bowen Engineering in an amount not to exceed $75,000. 65, excuse me, $65,000.
Second,
Let's throw 10,000 in there.
I second that.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Bill to approve General Manager Ed Baskell to sign our BOT agreement for the pre-closing services in an amount not to exceed $65,000. Anything else for Ryan? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you, Ryan, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Just one note on that. These pre-closing services were actually part of the bid process, and each company that bid on it was asked what they would charge for the pre-closing. And a couple did this. They said, the pre-closing, that's on us, and it will be applied to the guaranteed max, where others said, no, this is going to cost you regardless of whether we're the firm or not to do this up front. So it is a point that was reviewed as part of the bid process.
Point. All right, next item tonight is the approval of the claims, payrolls, and transfers. Anyone have any questions on any of those items? Not, I would entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the claims payroll transfers dated July 7th, 2021 in the amount of $844,167.59 for claims and payroll and $5,733,139.07 for transfers.
Second that motion.
Motion made by Bill, seconded by Jim to approve the claims, payrolls, and transfers dated July 7, 2021. Any other discussion or questions on those items? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, next item is other business. Ed, do we have any other business tonight, or anyone else on the board have any other business? Okay, how about public comment? Any comment tonight? Ed, anything you want to report that came in electronically, or any comments that may not be from folks present?
No, I don't have anything tonight. No
Ed,
public
do
comments.
you want to give the board an update on Ulen?
Oh, yeah, yes, thanks for reminding me. Ulen, Jeff Jacob gave an update when I was absent in the last meeting and mentioned that we were having an issue with Ulen as far as their plan didn't conform to what we had asked them to do as far as putting wire and conduit to the houses. There has since been a meeting with Ulen, and they understand they need to have that wire go to the houses. They submitted a plan, and our electrical engineer, Alpha Engineering, is reviewing that plan to make sure it conforms. My summary review of it looks like it's it does, but I'll let the engineer make the determination. The biggest issue with Yolen right now is it seems like it's going to take longer than what was intended for them to do their secondary lines. So they told us it would be maybe 100 days, and that's going to exceed what it is in our agreement, but it's getting done.
So what day did they provide this revised plan?
I don't remember the exact date. I want to say last Friday.
Okay.
All right,
And
thanks for
they
that.
we anticipate 100 days final completion from last Friday?
The meeting that I wasn't present in, they said it was going to be about 100 days, but that was assuming they were going to go forward with their plan. I don't know if that 100 days still holds. It might be longer than that because this plan is more work than the other plan.
Okay,
Probably,
Thank
it
you.
probably will exceed it.
I'm sorry.
Exceed it.
It probably will exceed it.
Okay.
And it'll be from when they start the work. I don't think it's 100 days from last Friday.
Yeah, it's not 100 days from last Friday. It's going to be from when they start to work. It's gonna
They
be
haven't even
weather-dependent.
started to work, they probably don't even have a estimate from contractors.
But,
No,
but we haven't reviewed their revised plan to finally decide if we like it, or have we?
Yeah, we haven't finished that review. Our
Okay,
engineering
the
consultant is still
review is
looking at it.
underway, okay.
And I know what you meant, but I just want to, it's not if we would like it or not, we just want to make sure it conforms with code and it's done safely and correctly.
Right.
So, no, I know, I just, public, I just want to make sure people hear it, so.
Thanks for the clarification.
All right, anything else for the board or any other comments? Looks like our next meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, July 21st at 5 PM. If there's nothing else, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Motion made by Bill, seconded by Jim to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we'll stand adjourned. Thanks, everyone.